Men in general judge more by the eyes than by the hands, for everyone can see but few can feel. Transparency flatters your conscience and feeds your enemies. It is not a virtue inside power games. It is logistics for those who wish to price you, stall you, or bait you. The moment you publish your coordinates, your aims, your ceilings, your fears, someone begins to build a toll booth on your road. Confession is a map. Say, I need this promotion, and the timeline grows legs. Gatekeepers discover new reviews, final rounds, and a mysterious budget freeze. Announce, I must close this deal by month's end, and the price rises because the other side can count your oxygen. Whisper, I can't afford to lose her. And your behavior becomes predictable. You chase, you over-explain, you forgive what should have cost. You are not punished for honesty. You are priced for predictability. People do not need malice to exploit you, only incentives and a clean diagram of your route. The surgical rule is simple. Guard specifics, reveal standards. You talk in values, quality, reliability, fairness, not in coordinates, names, ceilings, deadlines. You are clear on the kind of game you will play and silent about the cards in your hand. This is not deceit, it is governance of information. A city does not publish the locations of its vaults. A general does not stream his march. You may be frank about principles while remaining unreadable about plans. That split keeps trust high and leverage intact. Appear good, hide the coordinates. People judge by appearances because appearances are what they can test. So you project steadiness and fairness that anyone can verify. You are punctual. You return calls on time. Your invoices match your word. Your boundaries are calm and consistent. The room feels safe with you because you are even-tempered and exact. Yet your inner aim stays sealed until commitments are irreversible. You smile, but you do not narrate your hunger. You are warm, but you do not announce your limit. The surface is glass, the depths are yours. Understand why this matters. Most actors do not attack you head-on, they reroute you. They create delays, widen scope, or move goalposts until you solve their problem at your expense. If they know your deadline, delay is profit. If they know your ceiling, the price is profit. If they know your fear, theater is profitable. When confession draws the map, obstruction becomes efficient. Now the montage. Boardroom. You enter and open with, we need this win to hit our quarter. Procurement leans back, curious. Legal requests, quick clarifications. Your rival suggests a pilot, which means you deliver 60% of the product for 10% of the price while they study your playbook. Across the hall, another leader speaks in standards. We approve on proof, performance by date, defect rate under threshold, cash terms, net 15. No desperation, only criteria. She gets crisp terms because her aim is a silhouette, not a speech. Sales call. You confess, we are eager to partner, we can be flexible. The buyer hears a discount. They ask for just one more concession to get internal approval, then another for the VP, then another for the CFO. You teach them that time squeezes you better than any argument. The disciplined seller does the opposite. 3 packages, each tied to delivery and support levels. Pricing locks Friday. Options, not begging. Deadlines, not diary entries. The call ends with respect because the path is clear and your pulse never shows. Dating app. You write, I want something serious, now. The wrong reader studies your urgency and learns the lever. They provide small signals, then withdraw to test your tolerance. You chase certainty and pay with dignity. The quiet operator is different. Warm, consistent, unhurried. Plans made, plans kept. Boundaries clear. Aim opaque. Intimacy grows from behavior, not biography. They disclose in layers, earned by proof, not by promises. The remedy is discipline, not cynicism. Layer your disclosures, values upfront, process after proof, specifics only when the cost of reversal is high. Keep 2 or 3 viable routes for every critical need, so no gatekeeper can price you into panic. Tie deeper access to earned milestones. Record agreements in writing and let the paper do the arguing. Speak softly, decide firmly, enforce small certain penalties without heat. You do not owe the crowd your coordinates. You owe your future your restraint. Let them see your character. Let them guess your aim. Be easy to trust and hard to read. When you stop feeding enemies with honesty, you start feeding outcomes with design. Reveal values, not coordinates. Men are driven by 2 principal impulses, either by love or by fear. You were taught that honesty is a shield. Open your heart, reveal your aims, declare your good intentions, and people will protect you. It sounds moral, and it feels clean. But in the city-state of real life, safety does not come from confession. It comes from design. People move with interest, fear of loss, and optics. Honesty is noble. It is not insurance. Begin with the virtue contract that never existed. You imagine a silent deal. Be sincere, and others will meet you with care. In practice, sincerity without structure invites negotiation, delay, and quiet defection. A manager tells a team, "I trust you, do your best," and then wonders why deadlines slide. A partner pleads, "Please don't hurt me," and teaches that pain carries no price. Warmth without teeth absorbs pressure. Your words become cushions that catch other people's weight. When the environment carries no cost for drifting, drift becomes a strategy. People agree with you while rearranging your terms. "Of course I care," they say, and move the finish line. "Of course I'm committed," they say, and keep 1 foot out the door. So you must draw lines, not to harden of your heart, but to keep it from being used as furniture. Convert sincerity into policy. The leader says, "We submit Friday at noon, submissions afternoon roll to next week." The friend says, "I am generous with my time when plans are honored." The partner says, "Intimacy follows reliability." Kindness remains, but it sits on stone, not sand. People stop negotiating with your feelings and start organizing around your rules. Now, place transparency against incentives. Emotional truth-telling is valuable for closeness. It does not move systems. Systems respond to status, scarcity, and risk. You can stand in a negotiation and tell the purest story about your needs, and the other side will nod and price you by leverage, not by poetry. If your exit options are weak, your story becomes a discount code. If your value is hard to replace, your silence says more than your speech. Look at a contractor who confesses cash flow trouble. The client empathizes, then stretches payment because risk dropped to 0, no late fee, no pause in delivery, no consequence. Replace the plea with design. Milestones in escrow, late fee applied automatically, work pauses at day 3. Empathy can stay. The incentives have shifted. The client now loses status and time by delay, so they pay on time and call you professional. Consider corporate life. You share that you want the promotion more than anything and explain the sacrifices you've made. The room hears devotion and calculates. Praise costs nothing, titles cost budget, and you've announced you'll wait. Your transparency won hearts and lost leverage. The Machiavellian pivot is simple. Publish metrics, publish dates, and tie rewards to them in writing. Make your advancement the cheapest path to the organization's success, and watch how affection follows the spreadsheet. Scarcity organizes attention better than sincerity does. Limited seats in your program produce faster commitments than unlimited kindness. A. 2-day application window raises more than a month of inspirational emails. Time boxes and caps are not cruelty, they are clarity. Risk also shapes behavior. People comply where deviation looks bad. Public dashboards make reliability visible. Quiet corners make excuses easy. When outcomes are posted, reputation gains weight, and feelings lose authority. You do not need to become severe. You need to put the mirror in the square. Finally, selective clarity beats full disclosure. Layered disclosure is not manipulation, it is stewardship. Leaders reveal values in public, specifics in stages, and only after proof. You show principle up front so people know your north. You release details as alignment is demonstrated. You share vulnerabilities after agreements exist to protect them. Think of a first meeting with a prospective partner. You state your operating values, direct communication, punctuality, mutual upside. You do not hand them your fears or exact timelines. As they meet small standards, you share more. Revenue splits, internal calendars, access to your team. When they deliver on medium promises, you grant high trust privileges. This cadence keeps intimacy from outpacing evidence. It makes betrayal expensive because it attacks a proven alliance, not a hopeful speech. Apply the same to personal life. Your values are public: respect, consistency, care. Your specifics are gated: your schedule, your private history, your financial details. These open by stages as reliability stacks. If someone takes offense that gates exist, they are telling you they prefer harvest to harvest rules. Calmly withdraw access. You are not punishing, you are respecting the architecture that protects both sides. Layered clarity also prevents weaponized empathy. When you reveal everything instantly, you give opportunists a script to play you kindly while ignoring your aims. When you reveal in steps, scripts must be funded by performance. The mask grows expensive, it falls sooner. Your circle fills with people who can afford the truth. This is the calculus Machiavelli pointed at. People move for advantage, for the fear of loss, and for how they will be seen. You do not need to become paranoid. You need to become legible to these forces. Make staying with you profitable, leaving you costly, and honoring you good optics. Put kindness behind gates and honesty behind sequence. Offer warmth and make reliability the price of entry. Honesty is not insurance. Insurance is built. Write the norms, publish the clocks, install the escalations that run themselves, tie promises, payments, and access to behavior. Praise loudly when the standard is kept. Let the system, not your temper, apply consequence when it is not. You will be called strict until the storm comes. Then you will be called safe. Keep your good intentions, keep your heart clean, but let design carry your hope into the world, where men and women are driven by interest, loss, and optics. The city obeys architecture. Build yours. Clear rules, protected heart. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few know what you are. You say little. You keep your face calm. You sit back like a stone. But the body leaks what the mouth withholds. Cravings, validation, speed, certainty leave fingerprints on timing, tone, and price. Smart players don't need your biography. They study your intervals and your concessions. If you don't seal the inner leak, you are readable, and the readable are steerable. Build a leak map. Start with instant replies. When a notification hits and you answer in seconds, you announce that delay hurts you. People learn they can pull your clock to pull your terms. Add price insensitivity. You pay rush fees no one demanded. You choose premium to calm fear. You accept inflated terms because uncertainty feels worse than loss. The market smells this thirst and raises the toll. Watch apology inflation. You lace neutral sentences with sorry, just, quick ask, and hope this isn't a bother. That's a tribute paid in advance. You lower your rank before anyone contests it. Track oversharing context. You send long paragraphs that explain your intentions, your schedule, your feelings, your entire childhood. You think transparency buys safety. It buys leverage against you. Over-explaining is a preemptive defense that reads like fear of judgment. Add the smaller tells. The upward lilt that turns statements into questions. The nervous laugh that fills silence. No worries where boundaries belong. Midnight emails to signal devotion. Accepting calendar invites before checking capacity. Quick calls that become unpaid work. Each is a door in your wall. Name the door, close the door, tie leaks to the cravings that drive them. Instant replies reveal a need for certainty. Tell me we are okay. Apology inflation shows a need for belonging. Please keep me inside the circle. Price insensitivity signals a need for status or safety. I'll pay anything, not to feel exposed. Oversharing context reveals a need for approval. Understand me so I don't get punished. When you match behavior to motive, you stop bargaining with ghosts and start bargaining with facts. See modern scenes. A buyer praises your pitch, then asks for a small favor on price to get it through today. You volunteer a discount before they push. You feel smart. You trained them. A date love bombs day one, then responds late, unless you escalate planning. You rearrange your calendar to restore the high. They just found your handle. A manager spotlights you in the town hall, then slides extra tasks at 5 if possible. You give your evenings to protect applause you can't bank. In each case, no one threatened you. Your leaks did the job. Install the inner frame before you attempt any outer mask. First, response delays. Carry one sentence everywhere. Thanks for the note. Let me review and reply by time. That line returns the clock to your pocket. Use it in sales, romance, hiring, and family. Delay is not rudeness. It is anesthesia for the chemical spike. 10 slow breaths after stating your number will save the discount you were about to donate. An overnight pause turns urgency into information. If an offer dies because you refuse to hurry, let it die. What cannot survive time survives on your fear. Second, option sets. Never stand on one leg. Binary choices trap you in yes, no panic. Triads move the conversation onto your field. Offer 3 clean paths, premium fast at the rush rate, standard by Friday at the regular rate, extended timeline next week with added value. You are not stonewalling, you are defining reality. With options, good faith people select, bad faith people demand a 4th option. Everything, now, for less, and reveal themselves. Third, pre-commit rules. Decide in daylight what your hungry self must obey in heat. Never decide under flattery. Praise suspends caution. Write the ask down. Answer tomorrow. Never negotiate under urgency. Clocks bend spines. No discounts without scope change. No signatures on calls. No late-night commitments. No second meetings without an agenda. Rules make you boringly consistent, which reads as authority. Manipulation needs improvisation. Procedure starves it. Drill the frame until it lives in your mouth. Build a script bank. That price fits reduced scope. Full scope is X. I can do fast. I do not rush. Friday is booked. I can offer Wednesday or next Monday. If we adjust delivery, I can match your budget. Practice until it sounds like thinking, not theater. After you quote, count 10 seconds of silence and let the other side move first. When a late ping arrives, reply at 9 a.m. with 2 times that fit your calendar. When a stakeholder asks for one tiny favor, ask which current priority they prefer to drop. When a platform screams, last chance, wait 24 hours. If the desire survives sleep, it is real. Now, replace craving with criteria. Chasing installs the handle. Standards remove the handle and create gravity. Build entry thresholds that exist on paper and in public. Budget minimums, clear scope, decision maker present, deposit before work. Enforce them quietly. Require proof of work, portfolios, references, a paid trial, or a test project. Trust what people have built over what they promise at volume. Use trial periods to measure behavior under time, not just charm under light. Standards let you say no kindly and yes with a spine. Turn standards into policy you can actually live with. Sales. I take 2 major projects per quarter. Next start is January. Dating. 2 evenings a week is my social capacity. Consistency beats intensity. Meetings. No agenda, no call. Money. Price moves only when scope moves. Time. Anything that spikes my nervous system gets a 2-hour delay. Put these lines in proposals, bios, and calendar notes, and keep them in your mouth when pressure arrives. Measure so you cannot lie to yourself. Track average reply time on non-urgent messages. Track discounts granted with and without scope change. Track how often you enforced a rule versus made an exception. Review weekly. Numbers are unromantic. That is why they keep you safe. If you break a rule, do not perform guilt. Perform repair. Identify the trigger, add a guardrail, write a script, rehearse, move, expect noise. Those who feasted on your leaks will call your pause cold, your options complicated, your thresholds arrogant. Smile. That is dependency, losing its supplier. Do not argue. Repeat the line. Offer the options. Point to the criteria. If they threaten to walk, open the gate. Scarcity built on standards draws the serious closer and sends the unserious far away. Over time, you become slower inside and cleaner outside. The cravings remain, but they become preferences, not prices. Partners relax, because your yes and no mean what they say. Predators peel away because fog no longer hides their methods. Your presence stops begging to be chosen and starts choosing. That is credible authority, calm that cannot be bought by urgency or praise. Seal the leak within. Let the world adjust. The room does not reward truth. It rewards control of truth. A small trigger lands a delayed payment with emojis, a public hint that you miscommunicated, a DM leaked into daylight. You decide to be radically honest. You go live. You pour out screenshots, timelines, and private context. For 10 minutes, the crowd roars for transparency. The spiral begins with a virtue and ends with a price list. First, the oversharing. You narrate your wounds in high definition. You explain feelings that never belonged on a balance sheet. You convert private leverage into public content. Every detail you reveal gives rivals a map. Your tolerance, your panic buttons, your secret discounts, your thresholds for one last favor. The crowd screenshots the map. What you call courage, they call data. Next, the pile-on. Algorithms love heat. Heat loves escalation. Old conversations are dragged out as exhibits. A client you protected nods along to avoid catching fire. You are teaching everyone how to press you. If they wait, you will tell them where to push. Then concessions under heat. You extend deadlines to look gracious. You throw in extras to look strong. You slash the price in public to prove it's not about money, which tells everyone it is exactly about money. You apologize for any confusion, which plants confusion as shared liability. Each gesture buys applause and sells leverage. Meanwhile, the other side stays calm and forensic, collecting your concessions like coupons. Finally, the precedent. The market builds a file on you. When pressured online, they fold. If you ping them after midnight, they answer. If you escalate in public, they will pay to end the noise. From now on, every negotiation begins with a gentle threat, a vague tweet, a timed leak, a worded disappointment. You created a playbook against yourself, photographed and time-stamped. Understand why honesty becomes spectacle. In private, truth is a tool. In public, truth is a prop. The crowd does not arbitrate contracts, it consumes conflict. When you externalize pain, you feed an audience whose incentives are attention, not resolution. They cannot sign a cure notice or enforce a clause. They can only amplify heat, and heat melts options. Radical transparency turns from moral posture into operational hazard the moment it enters a room with money. Now the audience is repricing the quiet math that moves budgets. Decision makers watch your information hygiene. Do you hold sensitive details or spill under pressure? Do you escalate through the process or perform for comments? Opacity equals safety because it limits blast radius. A partner can trust a secret that never leaks. A board can trust a leader who processes in a ledger, not a live stream. A client can trust a vendor who solves in documents, not in threads. Observe how optics shift capital. A freelancer who never posts grievances is invited into riskier work because failure won't become content. A manager who keeps disputes inside a written process is given headcount. Steadiness reads as reduced liability. A founder who treats NDAs as sacred can negotiate hard without being branded toxic because people know their losses won't end up on stage. In these rooms, opacity is not deceit, it is containment. Opacity also buys you time. When details are scarce, rivals must guess. Guessing is expensive. They cannot coordinate pylons if they do not know the plot. They cannot compress your price if they cannot read your runway. When you are a closed book with clear chapters, dates, deliverables, acceptance tests, others are forced to negotiate in form, not in rumor. You need a containment window that runs even when your heart gallops. 72 hours to stop the bleed without theatrics. Step 1. Silence, not avoidance discipline. Inform your tight circle. No public statements for 72 hours. All external contact goes to this inbox. Mute bait, park drafts, and answer only with a stamped receipt. Received. Reviewing. Update by Friday 4 p.m. Silence denies spectacle its fuel and returns agency to your calendar. Step 2. The fact ledger. Open a dated document and capture only what can be verified today. Who promised? What terms? Which clauses? What shipped? What missed? What was acknowledged? 3 columns. Confirmed, disputed, unknown, no adjectives. The ledger cools your blood by giving it work. It also becomes a portable authority at real tables, legal, finance, operations. Step 3. Cold counsel. Schedule 1 hour with someone whose upside is your clarity, not your catharsis. A lawyer, veteran operator, strategist. Present the ledger, not your hurt. Ask 3 questions. What is my strongest position? What is the narrowest viable remedy? What is the highest value move within 7 days? Cold minds trim the movie in your head into a checklist you can execute. Step 4. The scripted statement. Before the window closes, write the exact lines short, dated, forwardable. We've identified gaps in X and Y. We are implementing Z by date. Please route updates to single channel. Any additions to scope will be quoted separately. If legal action is required, address the counterpart, not the crowd, and cite clauses, not feelings. Publish once, or don't publish at all. While this runs, keep your hands on work the drama cannot touch. Ship code. Fulfill orders. Record the lesson, not the rant. Send 3 proof-of-life signals to your ecosystem. The weekly report on time, the delivery in the right folder, the invoice with clean numbers. You are building a reputation that outlives today's noise. Under pressure, if you produce. When you re-enter the room, return as a clock, not a siren. Sentences short. Dates are real. Penalties collected without volume. Do not debate adjectives. Execute nouns. Assets by Tuesday 3 p.m. Else we proceed to vendor B at 4. Calm becomes a language others are relieved to speak. Deals, like rivers, follow the lowest gradient. You become the gradient again. Understand the leverage you reclaimed. Before, they spent a coy emoji and bought your week. They posted a vague disappointment and rented your face. Now, their cheapest moves die against form. Your story is no longer their inventory. Your honesty returns to its proper venue. Closed rooms, composed voices, documented outcomes. In that light, truth becomes a blade you control, not a spotlight that blinds you. You do not owe the world your bloodstream. You owe your future clean processes, readable standards, and the discipline to keep fuel away from the fire. Let others confuse confession with courage. Your courage is measured in what you deliver when provoked, and in what you refuse to sell for applause. Keep the mirror private and the ledger public. Speak less, verify more, and let respect become a habit in other people's calendars. Silence, ledger, counsel, script, then move. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. You say they used your honesty as if truth itself betrayed you. But truth didn't fail. Design did. Wrong incentives, bad optics, no penalties. You treated openness like a shield. They treated it like data. Drop the shame and reframe the variables. From story to structure, they abused my honesty becomes an audit. Unclear stakes, unlimited access, fuzzy ownership. Unclear stakes first. If the cost of missing, lying, or delaying is vague, drift is cheap and drama is free. Price the miss in advance, lost priority, adjusted payment, reduced access windows. People don't fear your disappointment, they fear the bill. Unlimited access next. When anyone can pull your time at any hour, scarcity dissolves and respect follows it out the door. Limit entry points. Office hours for calls, response windows for messages, gate introductions and favors through rules you enforce. Protection multiplies value, abundance dilutes it. Fuzzy ownership last. If no one owns the decision, confusion becomes the ruler. Assign a single accountable owner, a decider, and a deadline. Publish handoffs. When hands are visible, excuses run out of places to hide. Your honesty stops being a puddle on the floor and becomes a pipe with valves. Now build a small dashboard so your feelings stop guessing. 3 dials: access, delivery, consequence. Access: how close, how fast, how often they reach you. Delivery: artifacts, not adjectives, shipped features, fulfilled orders, kept promises you can verify. Consequence: automatic changes that trigger after slips. If delivery fails twice, tighten access. If access is abused, escalate consequences. This isn't cruelty, it's hydraulics. Pressure flows where design allows. Optics are risk insurance. People underwrite you with their eyes before they underwrite you with their wallet or trust. Calm cadence lowers perceived volatility. Punctuality lowers perceived risk. Concise notes lower perceived ambiguity. Together they change terms without a speech. Calm cadence means you move like a metronome when others sprint and stall. Let silence finish your sentences. When storms come, you become the barometer, not the thunder. Punctuality means you arrive early and deliver on the schedule you announced. Concise notes fit on one screen: decision, owner, deadline, next checkpoint. People who once used your openness as a shortcut adjust when the signals make risk visible. Modern practice is simple. End meetings with a 2-sentence summary and a timestamp. Send proposals that divide scope into stages with clear exit ramps. In personal life, confirm plans the night before, set arrival windows, and keep your tone even. You are not performing aloofness, you are removing risk. Risk removal attracts better partners and cleaner deals. Remember, optics aren't lies, they are the frame of the same truth. Post artifacts, not improvisations. Publish a rhythm, Monday metrics, Wednesday demos, Friday wrap-ups so reputation compounds. A steady drumbeat is harder to attack than a speech about effort. Credible indifference ends the begging. Options, buffers, reversible commitments. These make you unpriceable. When you can walk away, you stop pleading for fairness and start pricing it. Options first. 2 anchor clients instead of 1. A second platform for distribution. A stack of skills that lets you earn without any single gatekeeper's permission. Buffers next. Time buffers so big choices sleep overnight. Money buffers so surprise bills don't rent your character. Energy buffers so the calendar holds white space. Keep commitments reversible until patterns prove themselves. Pilot before retainer. Month to month before annual. Coffee before the weekend. Public before private. Reversibility invites honest signals because both sides can exit cheaply. If someone resists small tests, they will punish big trust. Credible indifference is not ice, it is oxygen. You can stay kind because you can leave. You can be generous because you're not trapped. You can forgive without leaving the door unlocked. When the room realizes you cannot be cornered, the price of cornering you rises. Their leverage thins, your dignity thickens. Translate this back to the wound you carried. They didn't use your honesty because honesty is weak. They used the openings you left because the architecture was loose. Fix the joints, and the same honesty becomes a sword in a sheath instead of a knife on the table. Honesty inside the structure is a signal. Honesty without structure is inventory for thieves. Make loyalty cheaper than betrayal by design. Offer status for contributions that anyone can verify. Offer skills partners keep even if they leave, so staying makes rational sense. Price disrespect quietly throttled access, smaller scopes, slower response. Nobody needs a lecture, everybody respects a system. The person who once celebrated your openness will adapt to your gates or disqualify themselves at the first checkpoint. In the mirror, replace shame with a blueprint. Scarcity, guard it. If attention is scarce, schedule it. If information is scarce, release it in layers. Terms, write them. If you don't set definitions, you will lose to definitions. Risk, split it. Shared deposits, mutual timelines, symmetric penalties. Your future self doesn't need perfect people. It needs parameters that make average people behave better. You will feel less dramatic and more decisive. That is progress. Warmth is welcome, but the house gets locked. Trust returns, but the ledger speaks first. Your voice softens because your edges are steel. You didn't become hard, you became clear. Protect the scarce, publish the rules, price the breach. You do not hide in darkness, you let the light hit frosted glass. Strategic opacity is not deceit, it is architecture that protects the mission while keeping trust high. You build 5 gates: frame, scarcity, incentive, mask, penalty, and let people earn passage through proof. The city runs on daylight rules while the inner chambers stay quiet and secure. Gate 1. Frame reality early. Agenda first. Metrics chosen. Roles named. Decisions dated. You open each engagement with a charter that states what this is and what it is not. Owners and approvers are explicit. Constraints are visible. Exit criteria are testable. Then you send a written summary within the hour to freeze the frame while the air is still calm. Paper cools heat. Later, when opinions swell, you point to the page and let structure carry the weight. At work, it's a 1-page brief objective, success metrics, owner, approver, contributors, deadlines, and a tight definition of done. In romance, it is cadence agreed early when you meet, how you communicate, what remains private. With friends, it is simple, plans lock by Wednesday. No carries no penalties. Clarity up front saves blood later. Gate 2. Use scarcity to focus attention. You do not beg for urgency, you design it. Slots are limited, time windows open and close whether anyone is ready or not. Access tiers are earned by performance, not by charm. Publish capacity like a timetable so adults can plan. 3 production slots this cycle, 2 delivery, 1 review. If a decision isn't made by the window, the default becomes not now. A vendor asks for anytime Friday, you offer 10:30, 11. A collaborator reaches for your weekend, you offer 2 morning blocks next week. A date wants 7 nights in a row. You keep a warm, lean rhythm until consistency funds more. Scarcity is ethical when it is public and predictable. It removes infinity from the calendar so good work can concentrate. Gate 3. Make the right path, the easy path with incentives. Think like an engineer. Build feedback loops that pay fast for the exact behaviors you want. Scoreboards show movement: green for on time, amber for at risk, red for blocked with an owner named. Micro-rewards arrive on accepted work, milestone payouts within 24 hours, a public note that travels, a warm introduction delivered the following week. Reward documentation, not theatre. Clean pull requests, not heroic recoveries from self-made fires. In personal life, tie closeness to consistency, not intensity. Coffee after kindness, plans after patience, deeper access after a month of steady conduct. The loop is tight, behavior-proof reward. People repeat what wins now, not what might win later. Gate 4. Wear a mask that settles rooms while hiding aims. Warm in tone, unreadable in intent, punctual, even-tempered, consistent. Speak about process, more than destination. Here is how we schedule, here is how we decide, here is how we escalate. Be generous with courtesy and stingy with confession. Reveal nothing that grants leverage, no desperate timelines, no private pressures, no unpriced desires. Reliability in conduct and opacity in plan create a protective paradox. Allies relax because they can forecast your behavior. Rivals stall because they cannot forecast your strategy. You do not argue your strength. You arrive on time, every time, and let the surface stay calm. Gate 5. Enforce small, certain, impersonal penalties. Reduce scope, delay access, rotate privileges. No speeches, just routine consequences that land like the clock. A missed handoff subtracts 1 feature next sprint. 2 late arrivals move your slot to end of day for a month. A confidentiality leak narrows permissions to need to know for 90 days. In friendship, repeated cancellations move invitations to casual, low-stakes settings until reliability returns. In client work, side door requests route to the contract tool, and response times extend per policy. You are not punishing a soul, you are pricing a behavior. When disobedience becomes boring and expensive, people prefer order. These gates are ethical when they are public. Write them where work lives, checklists for handoffs, SLAs for response times, meeting charters that close doors at 5 past and make late arrivals listen only. When enforcement happens, reference the page, not your mood. Per the charter, we lock agenda items 24 hours in advance. Point, apply, move on. Boredom teaches faster than outrage. A 5-gate system also deters betrayal. The frame defines edges, so deviation is visible. Scarcity limits what can be taken and when. Incentives pull effort toward honest delivery. The mask shields the strategic center from becoming a target. Penalties remove oxygen from small fires before they grow. Treachery becomes inconvenient, too many keys to turn, too little payoff, too much logging, too few scenes to feed on. The would-be betrayer finds no theater and poor returns. To keep trust high while exposure stays low, run a self-maintenance loop each month. First, a leak audit. Read your messages as if you were a rival. Where did you broadcast urgency? Where did flattery steer you? Replace hungry lines, "I really need this," with steady ones. Delivery by Friday preserves the standard. Rename files and calendar events to strip gossip bait. Neutral names deny scavengers breadcrumbs. Second, pre-commit scripts that save you from over-explaining. When baited, say, "Let's put that in the document." When rushed, say, "We decide on Tuesdays." When love-bombed, say, "Let's let this breathe for a week." These lines are governors on your emotional engine. They buy the seconds that allow judgment to return. Third, solitude blocks. One protected evening with no inputs and no outputs, only review and reset. Rewrite frames for the next month, count remaining slots, tune rewards, polish the mask, and refresh the penalty table against recent friction. Calm is a resource. Manufacture it on schedule. Modern life rewards loudness and punishes boundaries. You will reverse it. Your rules will be public, your temper private. Your yes will be light because your no is credible. Rooms will stay quiet because the rails are clear. Partners will pre-comply because incentives are near and fair. Rivals will hesitate because your plan is invisible. And when someone tests the perimeter, the consequence will land ordinary and cold, like rain on stone. No drama, only climate. You are not hiding from people, you are governing conditions. 5 gates, applied calmly and consistently, turn your world into a city-state that welcomes trade and denies invasion. Trust stays high because everyone can see the roads. Exposure stays low because few can see the throne. Opaque by design, trustworthy by habit. The order built quietly outlasts any shouted command. You choose strategic calm over theatrical control. The room softens because the rails are clear and the costs are known. You're not hiding, you're designing. Less crisis, faster execution, richer alliances, not by luck, but by the discipline of a system that moves people without raising your voice. A day in order begins before the messages wake. You set frames, not moods. Mornings for building, midday for decisions, late afternoon for cleanup and closure. Scarce slots make time valuable, so you publish windows and protect them. A vendor asks for 5 minutes. You return a 15-minute slot with a 1-page pre-read. If they prepare, they earn speed. If not, the slot rolls 2 weeks forward. Automated incentives speak for you. Ship on time and receive early payment. Miss twice and lose priority next cycle. Bonuses are scheduled, not begged for. Consequences are calendar entries, not confrontations. Your mask stays steady. Thank you for the update per protocol. We'll route this to the next sprint. Gentle penalties teach faster than anger. Late arrivals speak last. Changes after the cutoff move to the next window. Pings outside core hours wait unless a posted emergency condition is met. Because the rules carry the weight, your voice can stay low. Warm light after storm. People stop performing panic and start performing work. People mirror your pulse, and the pulse is steady. Quick wins grease the rails. You close loops the same day. Decisions in writing, files named cleanly, owners and deadlines explicit. A teammate hits the mark, and a small automatic bonus lands tied to the metric, not your mood. A client pushes scope, and a templated change order slides forward, calm numbers, clear options. Your calendar becomes a walled city with open gates. Inside, commerce flows. Outside, weather can rage without touching production. Discipline feels like shelter, and that makes it attractive. The machine hums because each gear knows its slot and speed. Trust grows through predictability. You deal fair, and you deal the same. Standards are public. Response times, definition of done, payment windows, and the few red lines that end a deal. You keep them even when bending would be convenient. so your no becomes safe and your yes becomes gold. Strong players gather because strong players hate roulette. A designer joins because versioning is real. A supplier stays because early delivery earns credits toward larger orders. Friends learn your boundaries are furniture, not threats. Deterrence connects to dignity when costs are certain and proportionate. You do not threaten, you price. Miss the deadline, lose priority next cycle. Breach confidentiality, the contract closes and the agreed fee schedule triggers. Make the rescue once, then fix the system so rescues are rare. Because consequences are predictable, the anxious relax, the capable shine, and the theatrical self-select out. Quiet rooms, clear rails, better deals. Now the oath that keeps you from bleeding inside the game. Reveal values, test for proof, disclose in layers. You state your principles: early quality over speed, privacy over spectacle, promises over noise. Then you ask for proof in small commitments: a pre-read sent on time, a prototype by Wednesday, a deposit cleared before kickoff. When proof arrives, you disclose more budgets, timelines, strategic context, never all at once, always earned. You refuse to overshare as a plea for approval. You show progress and protect leverage. You design the game. You do not argue inside it. Peace is engineered, not wished. You keep a long memory without loud grudges. Who kept promises? Who recovered? Who created fog? You reward recovery, retire chronic chaos, and preserve reputation like capital. Decisions speed up because you have history, not hunches. Cooperation becomes safe because everyone can read the map. Outcomes improve because incentives do the cradle. Lecturing. Dignity endures because your tone does not need to. Your calm becomes a public good. People who step inside your system leave stronger than they entered. Quiet rooms, clear rails, better deals.